he is the least popular Prime Minister we've ever had, because I think he doesn't know why he's there. It's not about whether she's a woman or not, it's about how well she's doing the job. And right now, all of us can see that she's doing that job badly. I'm not a big crier. Talking about crying at work was almost weird for me. Like, come to work and do your job. Why are you crying? Like, if you don't like the job, leave.
Kemi, thank you so much for being here today. I understand this is probably your least favourite part of the job, and I'll try and make it as painless as possible. But I think you've been on fire recently, and
Thank you.
You seem to have real fire in your belly. Your Benefit Street speech was inspired. Do you think that's fair to say the last few months you feel galvanised?
Well, more than the last few weeks. Certainly, I would say the last sort of 5-6 months, it's gotten easier. I've gotten into my stride because I was having to focus on fewer things. You know, when I first got this job, there were so many things that were broken and I had to fix them one by one. And, you know, everybody wanted everything fixed overnight. But I'm quite pleased. You know, we raised a lot of money. I was worried the party was going to go bankrupt, making sure we raised lots of money. And I actually spent the first few months just going around the country without any cameras, without any media, just talking to people, talking to businesses, town halls, shop floors, before really sort of working out what is it that we need to do here, how do we earn trust. And then things like PMQs, it's just practice. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
It's almost like you've had acting lessons. I was like, what has she done? Did you have a pre-hype routine?
Well, no, what I have done is stop taking it so seriously. So when I've realised that Prime Minister's questions is a moment of levity in politics.
Is it almost like acting?
Yeah,
Do you put on a game face?
Well, I was starting off, treating it like a courtroom.
Yeah.
And, here are my questions. It's an interrogation. Yeah. And, I had all these statistics, and I was trying to show that the Prime Minister didn't understand what was going on. The problem was no one else understood. They couldn't tell whether I was right or wrong. So now I treat it like a panto.
Yeah.
And it's just worked better. So just keeping it simple and keeping it high level. The detailed work we do in written form, select committees, other oral questions, and so on.
Yeah. Benefit Street was inspired. All your own work or ChatGPT?
No. ChatGPT cannot write a budget response. It would be so. It would be so boring. The truth is, AI is very helpful. I use it, for search. I don't use Google anymore. Google are not happy about this, by the way. I don't use Google anymore. I use AI. I use ChatGPT to search because it brings in additional context. You do need to check it, but it almost knows what more I'm trying to ask before I ask it. But if you ask it to write a speech, it'll be boring. You need human beings to create a good speech. I mean, if you're just sort of reading something and you want to get it over and done with, maybe it'll do that. Yeah. But that's not the kind of speech that I like giving.
Yeah, and I think, it's had a real cut through for our readers, certainly, and it's opened up the debate between strivers versus skivers. Our readers, they're hardworking, they go to work to put food on the, plate on their table for their families, and I think there's a sense that they are funding the lifestyle of people sitting there watching This Morning. Is that something that you are conscious of and you would agree with?
Well, it's true. It's true. This budget increased taxes on working people. Business rates, for example, you own a pub, you're not going to be making more money next year than you did this year. More and more burdens, and all to pay for benefits. Labour's got no ideas about how to actually get the country working. My mission for next year is to get Britain working again. That's what we want to see happen. And, you use the phrase strivers versus skivers. Lots of people give me different phrases, workers versus shirkers, makers versus takers. But it's all true. There are people who are abusing the welfare system. Welfare is there for the vulnerable, those who really need it, who can't do anything else. It is not there for people who don't want to work. And what I'm trying to do is distinguish between the two. Labour pretends that all of those groups are the same, but actually there are two different groups. There are people who can't work and people who don't want to work. And the ones who don't want to work, we need to get them into work.
And does it frustrate you how the benefit system is being rigged? I think every man his dog's got ADHD nowadays. I'm sure I'd be riddled with it. And yet I could probably get a free car in a year's time if I went through the process. That is completely wrong. And I think people are getting over-pathologised. I'm not making light of mental health. I think it's obviously a serious thing. But is that something that you and your party are aware of, this over-pathologising?
We have actually seen people exploit the system on Instagram. They call themselves sickfluencers, and they tell you what to do to get your benefits. Just say you're anxious, say you've got this, or you're too scared to come to the benefits office. They've worked out how to cheat the system. And I hate people who cheat the system. If everybody cheats the system, or if enough people cheat the system, it'll fall apart. We've got a great system in our country that works. Let's not ruin it by allowing other people, just to get away with doing wrong things.
Yeah. And what about the sort of over-pathologising? Do you think youngsters especially are being told, you've got ADHD and anything you want, you go into an online form, fill it in, and then doctors, is that something that concerns you?
Well, I think that we have seen an expansion in the definition of certain conditions. I remember reading a long piece by one of the best scientists on autism and Asperger's, saying that a whole load of things are being muddled up. What I want to see is young people having the kind of experience I had. I was born in 1980. I'm 45. I'm turning 46 next month. And when I was in my 20s, the world was the limit. Everything was great. It was parties. It was opportunity after opportunity. Young people nowadays don't feel like that. I mean, I'm not surprised a lot of them are depressed. They're being told that the planet is burning and they're not going to have any planet in a few years' time. They go to university because they're told that they have to go to university. They come out with loads of debt. Then they can't get a good job or any job now under Labour. And then they find out that they can't afford to buy a house. The mortgages are too expensive even when they get a job. It's no wonder that they're all feeling down. And what I want to do is create opportunity and say, don't worry, it's going to be fine. We are going to sort this out. And that's what I want the Conservative Party to do.
I'm going off the cuff here, but what do you think about influencers? A lot of kids, I did a speech at my old school a couple of months ago, and a lot of them were like, we want to be influencers. Again, you're hiding behind a screen. What's your take?
Well, I think it's the same as people saying that they want to be a footballer or an actor. There's certain jobs which look cool, but only a tiny, tiny percentage of the people who do them actually make that money. Most people who are influencers are actually making a loss or they've got a job on the side. There are very few who actually earn a living that way. And I think that as long as young people are educated about the reality, most of them will decide that that's actually not something that they want to do. But you also see, what are they influencing? A lot of influencers are actually creating fake, unsustainable lifestyles about what they eat, what they wear, how to dress, where to go on holiday. And I've seen some stories of some influencers who are actually very unhappy people, and they're trying to create a projection of happiness that doesn't actually exist.
Do you follow any influencers?
No. I do have an Instagram account. It's mostly mummy memes and mummy videos.
Well, a private one, you mean?
Yeah. Like I have a public one that's run by the office. And then I have a private one which is mothers with children and look what my daughter did today. First daughter, first kids, and those sorts of things are very funny.
And do you read below the line comments? Do you read what you're?
No, not really, because you end up with the just moving past them. This is why I'm so worried about how social media influences children, because I'm very disciplined. I don't have that much time to go on it. It's like late at night, about to go to sleep, and you just pick it up and you see what your friends have posted.
That's the worst time to look though, just for that.
So they say, but this job keeps me up so late anyway. I mean, I'm still working when a lot of people have gone to bed. So you then go, I'm in the car, not driving, and on your way home, just going online, and you see lots of funny things, but you also see things that are worrying. And if we as adults find it difficult to put the phone down, then how hard must it be for kids?
It's awful. I've got RSI from over texting and stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah. Would you, if you were in office, would you go down the route of Australian government and implement a ban for under 16s?
Well, I'm looking at it. I had a young cousin of mine. He was over 16, but I think he'd started looking at this stuff when he was younger than that, who actually took his own life, very sadly. He'd gone into an internet rabbit hole about how there were too many people on the planet and, you shouldn't have children who shouldn't have been born. It's absolutely horrific. And he was on the older side. So I worry about what young people are seeing. And, when I was the Minister for Equalities and I saw lots of young people wanting to change their sex and saying, I'm not really a girl, I'm not really a boy, I'm something else, and finding out where they were getting this from. Most of them were actually gay children, a lot of them with autism, and they were those most susceptible to being radicalized online. And some of them took very, very serious surgical steps removing their reproductive organs. They can't have children anymore, and quite a few became detransitioners. They decided that they didn't want this anymore, but it was too late.
Yeah, when I was little, I called myself James for about 3 years and cut my hair really short and told everyone I was a boy.
Yeah.
And, you know, nowadays, growing up, I'd probably been taken down to Tavistock.
Yes, exactly. And you know, puberty blockers, the whole thing. So we're trying to stop the puberty blockers.
But you're not denying there are trans people that exist.
Of course they are. Gender dysphoria is a real condition, but we need to manage it as a condition and not pretend that you know, you've changed sex. You cannot change your biological sex. You can present differently. We live in a very open, very liberal society where we treat people the same irrespective of that. But we shouldn't deny reality. And what also happens is that because we've made special rules for trans people, again, just like with benefits, we always get the people who want to ruin it for everyone. So people who don't even have gender dysphoria, just men who want to go into women's loos saying, oh, I'm a woman, let me in. And if you don't have robust systems, if you don't create strong rules, then you will allow all those people to exploit that. And I don't want to see that. So I will always fight against the people who are trying to cheat the system, break it, and ruin it for everybody else.
You talked about radicalisation online, which leads me to Adolescence, a show you previously said you didn't have time to watch. Have you now watched it? Really?
I haven't watched it. On principle, I'm now no longer watching it.
Right.
Because I can always tell when there's a fad or something that's being hyped. And I'm somebody who likes to resist those sorts of things. I know my own mind. And I think I've learned a lot about what's going online, what's going on in terms of violence against women, what's happening to young men, violence against men, from looking at real evidence, you know, real life, rather than watching telly.
Do you not think it makes you more relatable to actually just sort of see what other people are talking about?
There's loads of other stuff that I watch that I can see what other people are talking
like
about.
What?
But I'm not what I'm not going to do is be pressured into other things. That's when the resistance turns up. Other people are not going to pressure me into doing anything. I do resist peer pressure.
And did you see obviously that Labour are trying to bring out some anti-misogyny sort of lessons for young boys?
It's a terrible idea.
Right.
It's a terrible idea. It'll just create a backlash. This is the first thing they announced in their violence against women and girls strategy. It's not 11-year-old boys that are attacking women on the street. Let's focus on where the problem is. Let's enforce, get more police officers. I use the rape gang scandal as an example. You know, deport foreign criminals, people who come from cultures that don't respect women. Let's do the common sense thing. I'm all about common sense. Teaching anti-misogyny to children who don't even know what the word means will probably have the opposite effect. I think it's the wrong thing.
It'll lead them to sort of Andrew Tates, etc. There was a meme on Instagram a couple of months ago about Rachel Reeves being the best travel agent in Britain for all the work she's done for the Dubai market. Do you think, in all seriousness, we are getting to the stage of, you know, the Sun's famous front page when
the
Neil
last
Kinnock,
person to leave turned the lights out?
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's not. People think it's just wealthy people leaving the country. It's not. It's a lot of young people who can't find work. Unemployment has risen every single month since Labour came into office. Youth unemployment through the roof. Graduate recruitment lowest ever on record. So of course they're going. They're going where they can find the jobs.
Yeah, my best friend and her family are considering Dubai, and
they're
just, you know, they work really hard and they just have nothing here.
What Conservatives want is to make Britain the place where people want to come to, and we can be restrictive about and make sure it's only the best people coming in. We shouldn't be the place that people want to leave.
Yeah. And do you think we are as bad as it was in 1992? You know, is Keir Starmer the worst Prime Minister we've ever had on record?
Well, that's what the polls say.
Is that what you think?
He is the least popular Prime Minister we've ever had.
Is that what you think?
I think so, because I think he doesn't know why he's there. They got into government not because there was a big love for Labour, but because people were fed up of the Conservatives.
I was fed up with the Conservatives.
Yeah. And we'd been in a long time. We'd had lots of changes. It was clearly not working. And I've acknowledged what those mistakes were: too high taxes, too high immigration, not enough of a focus on delivering Conservative things. That's what I'm changing in the party. You know, letting go of some policies which, quite frankly, I thought were rubbish, and you know, making us a real Conservative party again. I know why I'm doing this. I know who I'm doing it for. It's the people out there who are working hard. Keir Starmer doesn't know who he's doing it for, so they've picked, you know, people on benefits. He doesn't have an agenda to deliver. Even their, you know, violence against women strategy, you can tell it's been cobbled together after watching Adolescence. It's not real. It's not serious.
I'm going to move on to Rachel Reeves now. I've only met her once. She seemed like a lovely woman outside of politics. And you've been accused of sort of being too harsh on her, attacking her, being anti-feminist yourself. I'm guessing if Wes Streeting or Keir Starmer or, David Lammy cried in the House of Commons, you would have something to say about that.
Well, I didn't actually say very much when she cried in the Commons. What I was doing was trying to point to the Prime Minister that the person next to him was crying. I mean, he hadn't even noticed. That's what's really shocking. I felt quite sorry for her that day. I was very hard on her at the budget because I was channeling the anger and just the intense frustration that all of those people out there working were feeling. Farmers, small businessmen, and people who send their children to private school, most of them not very rich, working very hard, and just suddenly having to pay more in taxes. Rachel Reeves says she was using that money to pay for more teachers. Last week I showed that we have fewer teachers now, 400 fewer teachers than we did when they came into office.
Which is inevitable when you put, Bridget Phillipson does these things.
Yes, quite. And this is the problem. It's not about whether she's a woman or not. It's about how well she's doing the job. And right now, all of us can see that she's doing that job badly.
But when you say things like she's out of her depth, that's not because she's a woman, it's because you think she's out of her depth.
Yes, exactly that. We shouldn't be afraid to tell it like it is and to tell the truth because we think, oh, well, this person is a woman and so people might take it the wrong way. Let's be honest. And if you are a serious person, you will take criticism and use it constructively. A lot of criticism that you get as a politician tends to be rubbish, but you need to pay attention. Not everybody criticizing you is doing so because of your gender or your race or your background, and everybody gets criticized. If you're working class, you get criticized for that. If you're posh, you get criticized for that. If you're a woman, you get criticized for that. If you're a man, you also get criticized for that. It's just par for the course. Ignore a lot of that. The people doing that are not many, and they're not relevant. Focus on the job. And what people are saying is that she raised taxes when she shouldn't have. She broke her promises. We can't trust her. She's killing employment in the country. Those things have nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. They're to do with how well you're doing the job.
If you were her, would you have resigned by now?
Well, clearly, because she can't do the job. Yeah. She can't do the job. I mean, chancellors have resigned for less. Chancellors and prime ministers have resigned for less. But they are clinging on because they know that, first of all, Labour know that there's not really anyone who can do a better job. They may talk about all these other people. They're all as bad as each other. And they're clinging on just to save their own skins. They don't know how to do the job. They don't know how to get growth, how to grow the economy. We do. Yeah. Conservatives have made mistakes before, but we know how to do it. Every time we have come in to clean up the mess made by Labour, and we're going to have to do it again.
Has there been anything you've said that you think afterwards, that was a little bit punchy, and sent a personal apology to anyone?
Not on the floor of the House, no. Well, in private, yes.
Go on.
I called someone a Muppet the other day and I said sorry afterwards.
Right. So what had they done that was Muppet-like?
Just a bit Muppety. But I didn't need to say that.
Yeah. Misogyny, we've spoken about that a lot. As a woman, you have to have a thick skin, I think, in this industry. Has there been any criticism that's been levelled at you that you've really found hard to take on board?
So I have outlier levels of thick skin, and it's very helpful in dealing with the tough parts of the job. I can't think of... There are lots of things that are very upsetting
like
because
what?
It's just anything. Any kind of criticism can be upsetting. The things that are really upsetting for me are the lies. I don't really mind if people say, well, I don't like your policy, I don't like what you said. But when people say things that aren't true, that's the stuff that drives me up the wall. I'm all about truth. I don't tell lies. Even when it's going to be painful for me, I'll take the pain.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people dabble in lies. And I open newspapers and I read people say, oh, she did this, she did that. There was some weird story about how I sent my staff to go and tell a shoe shop to give me a pair of shoes that had been out for 7 years. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would a shop be keeping those shoes there? No shop makes shoes specially for you.
Yeah.
But you read things like that, or that you're a diva, or you did this or that. I think that's hurtful. And the people who are hurt most of all are actually my family, because they know it's not true. My mum, there was a story she read and she was like, that's not true. Why don't you get me, an interview and I will tell them it's not. And I was like, no one's going to believe it if you get my mum to say that it's not true. It's just part of the job.
Yeah.
And my husband as well, when you read things that are not true, that's the most upsetting thing. And I don't say things about people that aren't true.
And do you worry that your kids are reading this stuff online and they're, you know, do you worry about them being bullied? A lot of politicians have said this is an issue. Is that something?
So my kids are still quite small. My youngest is 6.
Yeah.
I've got a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 12-year-old. My 12-year-old has started going online. She doesn't have a smartphone.
Yeah.
But I think that will probably change. But even then, when they go on the computer,
I bet she's pestering you.
Yeah, she is. I restrict everything is locked down. So the only way that I can really manage what my children do on the internet is to say, what do you want to look at? And then I open it for them. So I keep track. And they don't really like it, but they've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
So they're not yet at the age where they're seeing those things. They hear about memes and things like that from their friends, but so far they've been more funny rather than harmful.
Right. And is that a concern of yours, though?
Always. It's always at the back of my mind. I haven't had any massive incident yet, but it's always at the back of my mind.
What's been the thing that's been most upsetting or hard for your family to have read or seen over the last 18 months?
There was a story. Yes, the New Statesman wrote something where it said I was trying to get a visa for my dad to come over. Right. My dad's dead, and that was quite horrific. And it's just the sort of just publish, when people just publish any old nonsense that they're given, and even though they don't immediately read it, family members then get sent things by other people. My mum to have to read like a rubbish story about me trying to bring her and my father, and get them visas and so on. It's just rubbish. Those sorts of things are particularly harmful, and that's why a lot of people don't go into politics. So I'm lucky that I have a thick skin, but my family are having to get used to it. But they're quite tough as well. They're quite tough, but more than anything, they are really proud of what I'm doing. Yeah. And they still think that this is
seeing
quite an amazing...
a woman striving, not what's the expression?
Skiving, was it?
Skiving, yeah.
They're really proud of me. They think that being in this job is quite an amazing privilege, and what they really want to see me is doing something unique and special that will make people's lives better. And that's the upside to it. You can spend a lot of time talking about how the job is tough and all the difficult
worst
things.
troll you've had.
Yeah, you can, if you focus on that, you will get depressed and you won't do a good job. I just decided, at a very young age, people are going to say things about me, and I don't care. I'm going to do what I think. I'm going to do what I think is right. Yeah. And once in a while it'll get to you, but most of the time I can shrug it off.
Yeah. Last negative troll question, but do you sort of get any credible death threats? Is there anything that does worry you?
Yes, but I don't want to hear about them. The office deal with them. They tend to come in on my public email addresses, letters, and things like that. So I don't open my own posts.
Have you ever had to have security up?
Yes. I have to have security. It's a sad part of the job, but it's in this day and age. I think in most countries that's the case. We no longer live in sort of the 1950s or 60s where Downing Street, anybody could walk up and down Downing Street. We all need security because the threats have grown. Yeah. You think about 9/11 and 7/7. As the world has become more technologically advanced, it's become easier for people to do harmful things. It's not just about getting the weaponry, it's being able to watch people, mobile phones, going online. The information age has had a lot of upside, but it's also given the bad guys the information they need to cause harm.
Yeah. When was the last time you cried?
On the 20th anniversary of 7/7, and just seeing people who were little kids who lost their parents 20 years ago, talking about the lives that were stolen from them and how they had to grow up without their mum. That was awful. And just thinking that if it was my little kid who lost me, that would just be it was heartbreaking.
You ever cried in this building?
No.
Right. Are you able to compartmentalise?
Well, but also emotional. I'm not a big crier. I'm not. So I don't. I think talking about crying at work was almost weird for me. Like, come to work and do your job. Why are you crying? Like, if you don't like the job, leave. That's the sort of attitude I have. I grew up. I was born in Wimbledon, but I grew up mostly in Nigeria and came back. As a 16-year-old, and I had to fend for myself.
Worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, first job at McDonald's. I had to look after myself. Like there was just no time for crying, and there are loads of things you can cry about. But you grew up in a country where lots of people are poor, and there is a lot more to compare yourself to in terms of people who are having a really, really hard time.
Yeah.
And that has always helped me. But I've always, in every circumstance in my life, felt quite privileged, even when I wasn't in a privileged position. I know that there are people out there who are suffering, who are in a worse off position than me. And what I want to do with my life is actually make those people's lives better, rather than moan about how what I have isn't enough. And it's just not my personality.
And do you still feel safe in this country?
Always.
I got mugged 2 months ago, and that's
even with the security threats and so on, I feel safe because well, it's not just about being confident in the security. I think that things are getting worse, but I don't believe that we are a dangerous country. There are more dangerous people here than there were before, but I think we are broadly safe. But we have to work hard to keep ourselves safe. I mean, the things that keep me awake at night aren't being mugged. It's about what happens if a nuclear missile comes to the UK, and do we have the tech to stop it?
Yeah.
And what happens if there's a war or a famine or something like COVID but more horrible? Those are the things that I worry about. And yesterday, we talked about a new policy that Conservatives have, the Sovereign Defence Fund. Let's stop wasting money on Ed Miliband's net zero projects. Let's put that into making sure we are ready for anything. Because if you are a strong country, you're less likely to be attacked than if you're a country that's easy for other people to take over. And building that strength and resilience is a priority for the Conservatives.
Yeah. And you mentioned sleep earlier. Are you a Margaret Thatcher? How much sleep do you get a night?
On a bad day, maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
On a good day, 6, 7.
Right.
I shouldn't have said that. I had to do this. And
I've slept for about 4 minutes last night because I was anxious that I couldn't think of any questions, and I just asked you if you like Love Island.
Questions.
I know, but I thought I was going to go blank. And do you ever get insomnia?
No.
Do you? Obviously, you were born in the NHS, weren't you?
No, I wasn't born in the NHS.
I thought you were. Was it?
No, I was born in a private hospital, actually.
Right.
So when I was born, my parents were actually doing very, very well.
Your dad was a doctor?
Yeah, my dad was a doctor, my mum's a professor, and it was after the oil boom in Nigeria. There's so much money. I remember asking my dad, why didn't you buy a house in London? He said in the 70s, because I was born in early January. That nobody was buying anything. Like, people wanted to get out of the UK. Nobody was buying anything.
Yeah.
That they had all these countries that had oil booms. That's where the prosperity is. But they had bad policies, and those countries, like Nigeria, got poorer. That's why the economic policies you have are so important. You can start out with lots of money and lose it all.
Yeah. What drives you?
Wanting to make sure that story of my life of having something and losing it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I don't want us to lose what we have in the UK. Just because we are a strong and wealthy country doesn't mean we're always going to be strong and wealthy. You've got to work for it every single day to stay that way. And that drives me because I've seen poverty. I know what that's like. I don't want people to have to experience that.
Do you ever want to quit? Does it ever get too much? You think, why am I doing this? What's the point?
Nope. Not yet.
And do you worry that young kids growing up wouldn't want to be politicians given the enormous barrage of abuse you guys get?
Yes, but I also worry more about the kind of people who are going into politics these days. So you have that problem of good people not wanting to go into politics.
Leads me nicely to my next question.
But a lot of people want to do politics now because they want to be on TV and they want to be famous rather than do the right thing, public service.
I think I'd just be an influencer.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. They want to be liked. They want likes. So when there's a tough decision... You can't be a politician and
want to be liked, surely.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, especially I see it on the Labour benches and the Lib Dem benches, of course you want to be a good person.
Yeah.
But politics is about doing tough things.
Yeah.
If it's just about doing nice things, you're going to run out of money. That's what's happening with Labour. Like, well, we're going to give lots of money to people on benefits.
They're the kind party, you're the nasty party.
We're not the nasty party. We are the serious party. We are the party of people who want to get on and up. But that means common sense and sometimes making difficult decisions, making trade-offs. It's not all sweeties in life.
Yeah. And now I know you don't like talking about this man. And I think perhaps there's a sense from you that we, the media, social media, give Nigel Farage too much airtime, and therefore it's driving this sort of surge in popularity. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Well, as I said, there are people who want to go into politics because they want to be on TV. And politics is not a chat show. It is actually impacting people's lives. And having good intentions is not enough. You need to know what you're doing, and you need to know how you deliver those things.
Are you saying Reform have got good intentions?
Well, I don't think they're trying. I don't think they're trying to, offer people something bad. I just think that they're trying to offer everybody everything, and I don't think that that is realistic.
Yeah.
You have to make choices and say we're going to do this, but we're not going to be able to do that. And then when you make your choice, you can focus on it and do it well. But if you try to do what we did, I would argue, in the last parliament, and what Labour is doing now, say, we don't have to make any tough choices, we're going to spend all this money, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be great, it will fall apart and people will think that you've lied to them. And that's what I see Reform doing. We need to make sure that we tell the truth. The Conservative Party is about values and principles and being honest and telling the truth. When we strayed from those principles, we do badly.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we stick to those principles, and that's what I'm doing. I'm reshaping the party, changing it, junking some of the stuff that didn't work. We tried a lot of things. People can see how that ended up. Let's stay on the straight and narrow and be focused.
Yeah. And obviously after 14 years in power, people are disillusioned with the Conservatives, and you can understand that, of course. What was the biggest lie that Conservatives told during those 14 years for you that undermined?
So I don't call them lies.
Yeah.
It's having hopes that you can't deliver, making promises without knowing how you're going to do it. If you and then at the end of it, if you fail on delivering the promise, it's not that you were lying, it's that you just failed. And we failed to deliver on things that we promised, like keeping taxes low. Yes, we had COVID, which is an excuse and an explanation that a lot of people understand. But maybe we could have spent less at that time. It would have been difficult. Lots of people were screaming for more. And I still think we were the best option at the time. Immigration too high. And again, we put in a system that didn't work. We had a points-based system, which was supposed to control immigration. But we let civil servants do the decision-making. It increased immigration. So we've seen what went on. And many of us disagreed with some of those policies at the time. And what I tell people is that those of us who were complaining about what was going wrong are now in charge.
Yeah, you mentioned civil service earlier. The blob is something that any government seems to struggle with, and how would you keep the blob in check?
Well, the civil service and the blob are not the same thing. They can overlap sometimes. I had some great civil servants, but the blob, if you want to deal with the blob, you need an army, and it can't just be your own party. You need people. Let's look at the issue of women's single-sex spaces. I could not have fought that battle on my own. There were lots of women across the political spectrum, left and right, who were mobilised to help with this. And that's you need outriders, you need other people who care about an issue, but you also need to know exactly what you want to do. Many people go into politics. A lot of the people who they want to be nice and they want to be liked, but they're not quite sure how to solve anything. Don't know what they want to do and don't know how to do it. And if you are that sort of person, the blob are going to eat you up and spit you out. But if you're someone like me who knows what you want to do and you know how you want to get it done, then you can tackle it.
Yeah. Sorry, back to Farage, your favourite man. As a man, who do you prefer, him or Keir Starmer on a night out? Who'd be more fun or gregarious?
Neither. It's like asking if I want to have my eyes gouged out or drowned.
Right.
No, thank you.
Fine. What about nice Zach from the Green Party? What he'd be?
Or poisoned.
Yeah.
It's not whether they're men or not. They're just not my kind of people. I like the men of the Conservative Party. There are loads of great guys there.
Yeah. Who's your best pal?
I can't pick a name. It won't be fair on all the other
fine.
pals. My real best pal is my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one who's always with me.
How much of a threat are Reform to you? I think, over the last 2-3 months, there has been a massive resurgence for your party. But you cannot ignore the threat of, Reform, and what I think they do very, very well is use social media in a way that no other political party has. They've got 24-year-olds running their TikTok accounts, and they've got the popular vote. At my godson's school, they had a general election, and they couldn't announce a result because it was Reform. And, this is terrifying.
So every party is a competitor. And the way I look at politics is, in a very commercial sense, that we're all, we have our target market, we have our product. If somebody opens a shop on the high street and people are going there, you need to look at what you're doing wrong rather than focus on what that other shop is doing, especially if they're taking your customers. And what I believe is that we diluted our brand and we started selling things that Conservatives didn't want to buy. And so we have to make sure that we change the offer in the shop. Worrying about what Reform is doing is, in my view, not a sensible strategy. I can't control what they're doing. I can control what we do.
Yeah.
And what I'm focused on is making sure the Conservative Party delivers. We are the only party that is both brave enough and competent enough to take those tough decisions, like leaving the ECHR, for example, so we can control our borders, stop small boat crossings. We're the only party that's got that competence and that depth to do complex policy. I've got a team
but if we
behind
do
me.
that, will it not be a Brexit situation in terms of we had not much really realistically has changed? Will we still not be tied up in bureaucracy?
No.
How can you promise that?
Well, one of the things that went wrong was focusing on just getting out of the EU rather than what we wanted to be afterwards. And I was elected in 2017. So when I voted in the referendum, I wasn't an MP. And I was so surprised to see how little plans had been made, clearly because the government didn't think anyone would vote to leave.
Yeah.
So there were no plans. Make sure you have a plan before you start making promises. That's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Other parties are not doing that. They're all making the promises, and then after that, they think, oh, well, how do we do it? That's how you run into trouble. And what I'm doing with my team is developing the plans. A lot of our time is behind the scenes. And I've got a strong team and we are united. I don't think any other party can say both those things.
Who's the biggest liar in the House of Commons, would you say, that you think is just fabricating and not backing up what they're saying?
It's very, very hard. Almost everything that the government says is found to be untrue. But I think Bridget Phillipson does so many things that are just out of order. In terms of the number of, that thing with the number of teachers, I find particularly scandalous. She's sitting on guidance, trans guidance, which we had sorted this. This was something that we put out before the election, and Labour have scrapped it. They're messing around. So I just think that that's not an honest way of doing things.
Yeah. What's been your biggest regret, politically or non?
That's an interesting question. Biggest regret. I'm not. It's tough because I'm one of those people who, I just think that if you change anything that was in the past, then you might be in a different place. So I guess none really. I just learn lessons.
Yeah.
I just learn lessons. I can't think of what I would do differently if I had it all over to do again. If I'd taken a different job, or lived in a different place, I might not have met my husband. I wouldn't have these children.
Yeah.
And so I think life is one of those things where, I love my life. I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
I love my family. I love my job. I love the people I work with. Conservative Party is my family. So yeah, things will go wrong from time to time, but everything that I think I could have done that differently would have changed, the person that I am today.
Yeah, very good answer. What was the last time you sort of went against a piece of advice and ignored everyone and ploughed on and you backed your decision?
People saying don't leave the ECHR.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I'm going to look at this. I was on the fence. I was genuinely on the fence. I could see the reasons why, but I didn't think there was enough evidence.
Yeah.
And lots of people said, oh, don't do this. It'll divide your party. There'll be splits. People will walk out. But I'm about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And while we haven't left the ECHR yet, that is our party policy. I've said it'll be in the next manifesto.
Yeah.
And that is why I believe in listening to your gut instinct as well as what the advice people give you. People give advice for different reasons, and they're often trying to help, but they're not always correct.
If you weren't a politician, what would you be?
An engineer. I like
Would
fixing
you?
things. That's what I trained as. That's what I
Boiler
said.
went the other day. You'd have been great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where was that?
At home in Richmond, my
Oh,
boiler.
your boiler.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said where we went the other day.
No, my boiler went the other day, so I have had to.
No, I'm not that
out.
kind of engineer.
Yeah.
I do electrical.
Oh right. I was like,
Electrical and electronic.
Do you think
what you're looking for is a gas engineer?
gas engineer? Thanks. That's how little I know. That's why I do this. What's the best WhatsApp group you're in?
Family WhatsApp group. That's quite hilarious.
What's your WhatsApp profile picture?
I think it's actually an official picture. I haven't changed my WhatsApp picture in a long time. It was a nice picture with the flag. It's got Union Jack behind me. And I think these colours, you notice I do a lot of red, white, and or blue.
Yeah.
And those colours work well. So I've got that on today. These colours work well. So that's in my WhatsApp profile
And do you
picture.
do you have to think sort of, not long and hard, but about what you wear? And does it annoy you that women get more focus? When Angela Rayner wore pair of me and M suit, she was slammed as if a working class woman done good can't be aspirational.
So it's a double-edged sword. There is a lot that I have to think about in terms of clothing. Like if I'm giving a speech, what's the background going to be? What's it going to look like? And the most complicated thing is when you have lots of different things in one day. So I think there was a day when I was on a farm that I had to give a speech, and then I was in the house, and then I had an after-dinner thing. And there is no outfit that works for all of those.
It's not day to night.
Yeah, so it's changing, and I try as much as possible not to have to change. But the flip side is that you stand out more. You know, if everybody else is wearing a dark suit and you're wearing something colourful, people notice you. So I'm not one of life's complainers. Like, you can spend the whole time saying this and that, and someone did this and so on. But I always look for the sunnier side.
And I'm going to get absolutely slated for this question. But do you ever have a fat day and you think, men don't have that? Men never have a fat day.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
What men have you been talking to? They have loads of fat days.
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
I've never heard them talk about it.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, well...
Do you ever?
Well, they're always... This is one of the things, especially at the age that we're at. I mean, I never had this problem in my 20s, but the older you get, the more you think, this is feeling a bit snug. And, the harder I work, the more it's like, I've lost a little bit of weight there. Like, this is feeling loose. And then sometimes it goes back. So it just goes up and, up and down. But it's not really something that bothers me. I'm quite happy. I like how I look.
Yeah.
I think, I'm a good size. I'm very lucky I have good genes. I'm actually on the bigger side in my family. Most of the people in my family are the ones who just, they can eat anything and absolutely nothing.
I've been microdosing with Fat Jab. It's been amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's it?
It's great because also there's a lot of anti-inflammatory sort of benefits. The room, it's sort of unproven, but like Alzheimer's stuff, which is riddled in my family, goes to my family. So I was like, well, I'll give it a go.
Is it working?
Yeah, well, yeah, it like takes the food noise out. I love it.
The food noise?
Yeah, do you not get food noise?
What do you mean?
Like after breakfast, I'm thinking, what's for lunch? After lunch, I'm like, what's my snack? I plan my day around my meals.
No.
Do you not,
so
lucky.
I don't. Well, first of all, I don't eat breakfast because there's too much going on. There's almost no time. But I do like to have like a hot lunch, a proper lunch.
Oh yeah, your steak comes in.
Yeah. Well, rarely steak. Usually, I will order something like a Nando's, or just something that's
what
just
spice rating do you have?
I can eat any spice rating, but I prefer the medium. I find like if something, quite often, stuff that's too spicy has actually not been, it doesn't actually taste that good, and the spice masks the taste.
Yeah. And we never see you in lycra out jogging. Why is that?
Because I don't like lycra.
Right. What about jogging?
No, I walk. I'm not really a jogging sort of person.
Do you have a peloton
I walk,
or anything?
weightlifting more.
Do you do you weightlift at home? Do you have a personal trainer?
I have a trainer, yes.
Yeah. Do you do that at home or in a gym?
I also do it at home.
Oh wow, that's nice. Who's going to be the next British Prime Minister?
As opposed to
after the current,
the Australian Prime Minister.
Who's going to be running Italy in 5 years?
They're having loads of trouble with their prime ministers. So I would like to think that the British public will pick me, but I need to show them what I can do. I need to show them the Conservative Party has changed.
Yeah.
But the Conservative Party has a lot to offer. Right now, I think the country needs us more than ever. If you're somebody who is out there working, we're the only party that's going to get Britain working again.
And if there's one promise you could offer the public, what would it be?
A promise we could offer the public.
That you would keep and that you think would make a difference in terms of making people feel safe or keeping their wealth?
We've said there are lots of things. I mean, I've spoken about leaving the ECHR.
Yeah.
Something many people don't know is that we're going to scrap Labour's family farms and their family business taxes.
Did Jeremy Clarkson message you to say thank you?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Did he?
Yes, he did. It's really important.
Yeah.
Farms and small businesses are the lifeblood of the country, and someone's got to have their back, and I do.
And have you had any sort of secret celebrity support? That's my interest.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh.
Yeah. He's been so nice. He's a proper darling. And we talk about music and education and arts in schools. And it's nice when someone like that is sending you lots of encouragement.
What did David Beckham say? Was he supportive?
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, he just said, I don't know how you do this job. It's so tough. And the rapport with him when we were eating was very much about being parents, having kids, which shows to watch. He told me to watch Yellowstone.
Oh.
So,
did he mention the heartbreaking situation with his eldest son, Brooklyn? No, he didn't get some advice.
No, he didn't get into that.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Right, a little quick fire game. Getting to know you. Is this all right?
Yeah.
You can never see me again after this. Right, a little game of Ask Me Anything, where I ask you anything.
All right.
Right. You worked at McDonald's as a 16-year-old. What would your go-to order be now?
Quarter pounder with cheese was my go-to order then. My go-to order now is sausage and egg McMuffin. No, bacon and egg McMuffin.
Right.
Sausage is the second one. Second place.
What was your most listened to artist on your Spotify Wrapped?
So this is really sad.
Yeah.
So I put on music for my kids just to like drown them in sleep music. And I didn't realise this was going into my Spotify Wrapped. So my Spotify Wrapped is deep sleeping music, which is not something. But my second artist was Taylor Swift.
Oh, mine too.
Yes.
Which was my first.
So I need to be careful. I didn't know I was ruining my rap, but I did.
Poor old Liz Truss said her favourite or most inspirational Taylor Swift song was the unfortunately entitled Blank Space. What's your favourite Swiftie song?
What's the Romeo and Juliet one I've been listening
Love
to?
Story.
I love a story. Love Story.
Yeah.
London Boy.
Yeah, that's a banger.
I've now gotten into Stay, Stay, Stay very recently. So those three I think are probably the good ones.
What was the Spotify Wrapped age?
21.
21.
So I didn't. I was told that you would ask me this, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What's the?" I didn't know it didn't
Yeah.
age, and then I went into it. So it's 21.
I was 25. I was pleased with that.
Yeah.
Last time you Googled yourself?
I don't have to. All of the stuff is brought to me. Here's what people have said about you.
You genuinely haven't like quickly done a quick Google when you're going to.
Well, why would I? There's so much stuff, and every day I don't even have enough time to read a full newspaper. Okay. So I have a team of people who say, "This is what you need to this is what you need to see. This is what you need to see. This is what's been said." Yeah. So I don't need to Google myself anymore. Why? What? I'm sure I've seen it all.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
sure. Is there something there that I need to see?
No, nothing. No, again, I was a bit overwhelmed when I did a quick Google News search. Last time you were starstruck?
I bumped into Jerry Halliwell.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where?
And that was it was at a private party. I didn't know she was going to be there, and she was there, and I was like,
did you chat
16-year-old me. I said hello. 16-year-old me, sort of thinking, we're talking to Jerry.
Yeah. Which Spice Girl did you like sort of dress up as at school?
I did not dress up as any Spice Girl.
No, I didn't either, actually.
I never dressed up as a Spice Girl, but I liked all of them, to be honest. I identified with all of them except Sporty Spice.
Right.
Sporty Spice, I liked all of them, but Sporty Spice, she did the Lycra.
Yeah.
And that was, I've never been into Lycra.
Ever watched Love Island?
No.
Last TV series you binged?
The last TV series I binged, I'm currently watching season 4 of Stranger Things, which I did binge and then stop.
Right.
I binged loads. I think the last one, I went to the States for 3 days last month, and the jet lag, I was in California, so 8 hours. So I did binge watch a series called The Mayfair Witches.
Oh, I've not heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, give it a go.
It was good. It was good. I quite like sci-fi, fantasy.
Yeah, I love sci-fi.
I don't like the normal everyday stuff because I tend to find it depressing.
Watch a series called Timeless. No one knows about it. It's amazing. It's like a sci-fi Timeless. I don't know.
It,
I'll
Netflix
look it up and send it. I don't know.
Find it.
It's really good.
Making a mental note.
Naughtiest thing you've ever done, a la Theresa May? Hopefully not a Theresa May.
No, I can't tell you. No, I've got to keep that to myself. The last time I answered that question, I got into trouble, so I'm not doing it again.
Okay, fine. That sounds great. Last time you did a big supermarket shop?
Every week. I've got a family of 5, but I do online shopping.
Okay, fine. What's your supermarket?
Well, I order from Ocado.
Right.
So I think they get their stuff from M&S.
Yeah.
But my real supermarket, if I'm going in, always Sainsbury's.
Right.
I'm a Sainsbury's person.
Okay.
I'm not a Waitrose person. I wouldn't. It's interesting because Ocado makes me buy from M&S. I have a few M&S things, like they've got these soaps, these apothecary soaps.
Oh yes, I've got them in my shower.
So
and
nice.
Aesop, it's cheaper Aesop, but it looks the same.
Yeah, yes. So I like those.
Do you have a bit of Aesop? I bet you have a bit of Aesop.
People gift me
Right.
Aesop, so at Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, when is this coming out?
Maybe next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it might not be too late
Right.
for the people who want to put something under the tree to get me a bit of Aesop.
Yeah.
But Sainsbury's is my
Okay, your go-to supermarket.
is my spirit supermarket.
You're a politician. I have to ask this question. I've never asked it before. How much is a pint of milk?
Well, it depends what kind of milk you are buying.
So you're going semi-skimmed?
You said £1.20. How close am I?
I thought it was 95p.
Where are you shopping?
Lidl?
It depends.
Check that. I just did a quick Google yesterday.
The pint of milk is always
Okay.
is always a varied question.
Okay, fine.
Not that I'm a semi-skimmed milk person though.
What are you?
I like tinned milk.
Oh, you do like, I read that. What's your shoe size?
I'm a size 8, so I've got quite big feet.
You've got flippers, yeah.
I mean, that is not what we call them. We call them strong feet.
Strong
Yes.
female feet. Most embarrassing moment?
So this is a long story. It's very complicated. It wasn't a moment. It was a scene.
Right.
It was a scene. So I met a lady at a... I don't know how to cut it short. So a friend of mine was graduating, and one of her mum's friends had come to watch her, and I was there as well. And I looked at her and I said, "You remind me of one of my mum's closest friends. Like, you look exactly like her." And she was like, "Oh, and who's your mum's friend?" And I told her, and her face changed, and she said, "I don't want to look like her." And I was like, "Oh, what's?" So I found out the lady's name, and I told my mum, and my mum said, "Yeah, she was the first wife, and my friend was the second wife." This all happened before I was born, and I didn't know that my mum's friend was the second marriage. So I basically told this lady that she looked like the woman her husband had left her for.
That's a really good EastEnders line.
That was not cool.
Have you ever taken a drug?
Never. Oh, just paracetamol and that sort of thing.
Right. What's your worst trait?
My worst trait. So I quite enjoy what people say is my worst trait, which is me being flippant. I think it's quite funny, and people are seeing more of it now when I do things like PMQs. But at home, like it drives the kids crazy, and my husband's like, "Oh, can you just be serious for some time?" But I can be quite sort of teasy and sarcastic.
Last time you got drunk?
That's an interesting question. It has been a long time.
Oh,
Probably, what year is this?
Oh, God. This does not sound like a fun answer.
3 years ago, birthday, yes.
Right.
But when I say I'm getting drunk, it means that I've now got to the limit.
You're not vomiting in a bucket?
No. That's not me.
No.
We'll have to go back to like uni days for that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. When you go to the doctor and he says, or she says, how many units of alcohol do you drink a week? Do you tell the truth, or do you lie like everyone else?
What do you mean like everyone else? I don't have to lie.
Who tells the truth?
I tell the truth.
Okay.
Well, because I'm not like have a glass of wine every day sort of person. So I drink in social situations. It's my birthday, or there's a party, or there's something happening, but normally not. So if there aren't social things, it's probably zero.
Yeah.
If it's December, then there are Christmas parties and things. So I think I've had like 3 work Christmas parties now.
Yeah.
Then yes, but actually a lot of the time I'm not drinking because I have to speak at the thing, and it's just easier not to.
Yeah. Who takes the bins out?
My husband takes the bins out.
Oh no, you have boy-girl jobs, don't you?
No, not really.
Okay.
He just does most of it.
Okay.
So because I'm not around.
Yeah.
I have a 24/7 job, so he earns more money and does more housework. It is a very unfair situation.
It's feminism for you.
Which I have to be extremely lovely to him about. But he believes in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's quite special.
Nearly finished. Worst gift you've ever been given?
A half. This was for a raffle, and somebody had put a used pair of scissors and a half-drunk bottle of wine.
Oh, lovely. Who's the biggest drinker in this place? Or who's the biggest lightweight, I should say?
I'm not naming names.
No. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Last gig you went to? Did I ask that already?
Then I went to the Capital Radio Jingle Bell Ball.
Yeah.
And that was nice. Yeah.
Who would play you in a biopic of your life?
Kerry Washington. Scandal.
Oh, I love her. Yeah. Oh, I love that show. I binged that.
She's dressed so beautifully. I loved her outfit.
I think I'm watching at the moment. She's in, actually. Anyone ever slid into your DMs?
No, I think they'd probably be too scared to.
And I've already asked this, but I'll ask it again. Who will be the next Prime Minister?
Me, if the British public believe finally that the Conservative Party is the only party that's going to make Britain work again. We've got to do that. We've got to do that. And I'm going to be fighting every step of the way with every sinew of muscle in my body to make sure that happens. We are sorry about the mistakes that we made, but we know that we're still the best option. We've just got to prove it.
Great.